Hello, Taurus. My name is NiJiLL. You have found alchemy. This is your August 2025 reading. Okay, we have re-pulled these cards in the center here from your summer 2025 reading. If you haven't listened to that, I invite you to. It's a pretty short reading. Also, if you haven't listened to your birthday reading, I also invite you to do that. Your birthday reading is a pick a card reading just for Taurus. And it's 3 blessings coming to Taurus between 2025 and 2026 with timing cards and all that stuff involved. So I invite you to definitely listen to that as well. So I think I'm just going to re-summarize this for you in case you haven't listened to it. So you're not completely lost, and then we'll go on with your actual reading here. There is a temptation involved this month. It could be a temptation. It could be a deception. As we go on with the reading, we'll figure out which it is. I'm just going to put this to the side. In fact, I'm going to put all of this to the side just for a moment while I grab this. Now, this is the King of Swords in this particular deck. The King of Swords is usually Sun in Aquarius, but in this deck, he is represented simply by air and fire, which is a nice combination. If you notice here, as I pointed out in your summer reading, he does have scars on his face. The scars are something that he wears, I'm not going to say proudly, but he certainly doesn't hide them. He's very open about where his scars came from, how they've contributed to his life, how they've contributed to his path, the strength they have personally given him, the changes it made in his character to where certain mistakes will never happen, and other mistakes were beneficial. So yes, he's very open and honest about this. He uses very rational judgment. He's a great judge of character. And in this particular deck, he has a need for control. He enjoys predictability. Day-to-day predictability. He enjoys control. He enjoys understanding, having things scheduled, things like that, which is very Taurian if you think about it, right? Very Taurian-like. I personally am a Sun in Aquarius, and I have a Taurus moon, so I understand this. It's a very comfortable feeling. Now, the only drawback with this particular archetype is that he can feel the need for control might override other things. He might feel like that it could become a compulsion. It could become an overwhelming sort of anchor in his life if he's not careful. Okay. We're going to start with the larger cards. Now, with all these larger cards, including this one, I take them only in the upright, but I do take note of them when they come in reverse. And this King of Swords came in the upright, and this 10 of Wands here that we're starting with did come in reverse. As I said, we do take this in the upright, and this is Jupiter and Sagittarius energy. And, being that we're juggling up and down, first, what may seem stressful, right, is something you end up doing anyway, right? You may look at a situation and say, damn, just thinking about this makes me stress out. But you end up looking at it and saying, okay, I'm just going to do it anyway. So the 10 of Wands in reverse, flipped up, right side up, means that. Next, you have the 6 of Wands coming in reverse as well. And the 6 of Wands is Jupiter and Leo energy. And so it's interesting how these cards sort of lock together, right? And the 6 of Wands in reverse, the combination, what feels like it might not be fruitful, brings you attention and recognition. So it sort of ties together. Basically, what at first doesn't look good to you, or what at first doesn't seem like it's worth the trouble, ends up not only being worth the trouble, but bringing you something positive. You do have here the 6 of Cups, and the 6 of Cups is Pluto and Scorpio. You do see the value in something here from your child. There's something, listen, there could be something you rejected from your childhood. And when I say that, it doesn't mean that you're pushing it away and not thinking about it. Of course, that could be true at this point. But this is something from your past. This is the card of childhood. For it to come in reverse and then upright, it is something that you're dealing with. It is something that perhaps your even understanding is contributing to your drive, contributing to that need to succeed. There's certain things that happen in our lives that are awful, that we see no value in, and that when we grow up, we're like, you know what, if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't have done this, or if that hadn't happened, I wouldn't think this way. So there's certain people, for instance, who live through I'm trying to say this without YouTube flagging me. Some sort of a certain type of abuse when they're children from, let's say, a stranger, and it's an awful thing to live through. But as now that they're grown up, they know what to look for. They know how to look for predators. They know how to keep their children safe. That all that information wouldn't have come to them had they hadn't lived through something. So there is something of value in your past that you may have looked at like a trauma almost. I don't know if hopefully I'm making sense to you. That is actually contributing or has contributed to the person you are today in a positive way. You do have here the Seven of Wands. And the Six of Cups here, you may be tempted. Another meaning for this is, especially with this temptation card, you may be tempted to let go of something, but you don't, right? So if this card was strictly in the reverse, it would be you letting go of something. But there could be something, and it goes with these cards for some of you, right? There is something at first you're like, this is too much, not worth the trouble. I don't know if it's exhausting to even think about it, but then you end up doing it. You may be tempted to let this go. So here you have the Seven of Wands, and the Seven of Wands coming in sideways, Mars and Leo energy. As you know, my sideways cards are decisions, at least in my readings. And this is a decision on whether to see this through. My God, see, look, this is the card of perseverance. I'm going to sit, I am going to do this no matter what. It's coming in sideways. It goes with the rest of these cards. It's you trying to make this decision here. The next card here is the Five of Cups in reverse. The Five of Cups in reverse is Pluto and Scorpio energy. It is you see the value in something. Once again, it goes with these cards, right? This side would be you not noticing the valuable thing behind you because you're too, focused on the spilt cups. But when it comes in reverse like this, you're like, nope, you see very clearly what's valuable and what's not. You see it. You do have here the Page of Pentacles in reverse. And the Page of Pentacles in reverse is Mercury and Taurus energy. And you acquire some focus or a message that may not be grounded in reality. There may be a message that you either think about as a passing thought, and you realize that there is no grounds to it. There's no roots to it. This could be a message that you could miss, right? An important message that you could miss if you're not careful. Really look at the opportunities that you are presented with this month, Taurus, and really think about them. Because sometimes even though you're a pretty decisive person, you know what you want, you're very smart. I mean, Taurians just are. I think this month may surprise you. What you initially think may not hold value will. So really give things a lot of thought. When you have two number sixes here in this as well, right? And you are entering, right, a time of stability. And that means you're more than halfway to a goal, right? You're not right on top of the goal, but you're certainly not at the beginning. You're more than halfway, more than halfway there. We add this up and we break it down, we get Saturn energy, right? That lessons energy, right? Hard work, determination, discipline. Saturn, Capricorn, Aquarius energy. That temptation here might be you tempted not to do something, to release something, right? Logically, it doesn't look great, but things start here, okay? Things definitely start here. Now, moving on to your reading, we'll look at your overview cards. Yeah, look, see, you have Bayberry. Bayberry is known for finances, right? Expect a positive change in money matters. If things have been tight, your money will be on the upswing. Bayberry is always a really good sign for money matters. You have Chiron, and man, that goes with what we were talking about here with your childhood. The wounded healer. There is something that wounded you that will help others. to put it mildly, right? But when we look at Chiron in general here in August, Chiron will be retrograde in Aries in August, and it encourages us to reflect, just like we talked about, reflect on past traumas and the strength we have gained from them. Perhaps there is a sneaky strength that you haven't even addressed, that you haven't even thought about. What have you gained from it? People always talk about traumas and how they have stripped them of something. And sure, I'm not minimizing that, but it's not, there is something else. There's something you have gained from this. You have gained a strength from this, a super strength that you can definitely help someone else with, or a series of someone else's with, if that makes sense. You do have Jupiter here as well. Jupiter is number 18 in this deck. And as we know, Jupiter is the ruling planet of Sagittarius. It is also the planet of expansion and luck and optimism. And yeah, it is like the great wheel that turns. Jupiter is in Cancer for August, right? And it brings expansion to your emotions and your well-being. You have Chaska, the star of Venus. What a beautiful card. Number 20 in this deck. Now, yeah, it sort of goes with this, doesn't it? Because when this card is drawn, it tells us that part of your sacred power includes healing. And it's not only healing of emotions. You could be helping people financially in some way, right? That could have been part of your calling, right? Healing people financially, healing people emotionally. You are meant to experience, whoever's reading this says you're meant to experience abundance. It's sort of your birthright. And you're going to be, if you haven't already, some of you may have experienced this already, you will be experiencing liberation on the material plane. Definitely. On this side, you have come together in reverse, number 8. Now, when this card comes in reverse, there could be a love connection in your life that's unbalanced. Something that is like this. Something that's almost there, right? It's almost there, but there is something missing from it that you need to work on if you want it, right? You do have the Queen here, and this Queen is coming in reverse. Now, you have to sort of ignore the sexes here. You have the Queen. It is number 11. We know number 11 is that bridging number. But so in this deck, the King is the ego, and the Queen is the expression of that ego. So being that it's in reverse, make sure your ego doesn't put you in a position to make a mistake this month. Okay? Don't let your ego get in the way, either with this love connection or perhaps this temptation. It could be ego driven. You could feel that you know something that in essence you might not. There is an ego your ego is on the table, and you need to really examine yourself, the way you think this month, for sure. Something like that here is on the table for you, Taurus. Okay, in our Norse deck, you have Skinner, messenger, diplomat. It's almost like a page, right? Aren't you getting page energy from that? But, when this card comes out in a reading, it is you're put on notice to be on guard for trickster energy. There is a trickster energy around you. What does that mean? It means that there could be a liar around you. It could be somebody who is a deceiver, and you do have that sort of deception card. So for some of you, that may absolutely be true. Does this mean it's the end of the world and it's somebody awful? No, it could just be something very simple. Like, one of your family members lying to you about something. And you finding out and being a little disappointed. It doesn't have to be like something huge. Could be, for some of you, it could be something very big, something, and you're put on notice for it. But you're put on notice for something like that here, because you even have the madness card, and it says chaos, right? Madness, again, very dramatic card, but it doesn't have to be a big dramatic energy. It's just something that you look at and you're very confused by it. It's a confusing energy. Right? You have lantern, number 44. It says consciousness is light. Yeah, that's really pretty. Consciousness is light. This is the sun. It's clarity. So you will be experiencing clarity on an issue, clarity on a person. The sun, clarity. This person's wearing a blindfold, but yet they can see clearly, very clearly. Consciousness is light, right? Definitely. You have pulled the 4 of these cards, and I did take all 4 of them as they came out. And it's not surprising here, Taurus, that you have coins. Money will be coming to you. Yeah, I mean, you've received that over and over again in this reading, so you're going to be receiving good news about money if you're waiting for that. You also have Cup, and it says you should you should accept valid criticism, and I definitely have pulled this card for you before, and that may be a problem for some of you, accepting criticism about your work, accepting criticism about anything. I know the Taurus people I know, they don't like being criticized. I mean, who does? Taurus people least of all. Right? They don't appreciate criticism, but there may be some criticism coming your way this month that's valid, that you need to process correctly. Instead of being ego driven, take it and work with it and change what needs to be changed. Okay, it can only help you. You do have May here, and so your birthday could be in May. We know this is the month of Taurus here, so that's like a good sign that this is your reading. You have Leg, and it says stepping into a new experience. And yes, you are stepping into some new experiences this month. You have the Star, and I love this. It's Aquarian energy, but this is your internal compass. It's a blessing. It's also healing, right? You have these letters here. It's Q, I, F, and V. This could be someone's initials. It could be a restaurant. It could be a street name, an airport, anything like that. Keep that under your hat. It's going to mean something to you, one of them or all of them, by the end of the month. All right, now here are your 3 legs. Your month is broken up into thirds. Your last leg can come first. It can come out of order. It can be in perfect order. It's not a science. So just think of it with an open mind. You do have growth, right? And on this leg, you are going to be experiencing growth. I do think this will be a month of growth for you here, Taurus. You have the 10 of Cups. Neptune and Pisces energy. No matter what side of the card you get, this is a great card for sure, okay? This is love card. This is a love card. You have the opportunity to experience some love that's beyond the physical, if that makes sense to you. It's a spiritual kind of love. It is something that's deep, more than skin deep, if that makes sense to you. If you allow it, Taurus, if you want it. Right? If you're not interested in a relationship, that's fine. You still have all this money and the success coming towards you. But if you are interested in love, even a little bit, try to be open to whatever the heck energy this is, because it looks really nice. You do have here the 6 of Swords. And on this side, you have the 6 of Swords. This is Mercury in Aquarius energy, moving into serenity. Generally speaking, we always say this person is going from choppy waters to nice, smooth waters. So you have the opportunity with this Mercury and Aquarius energy to move to a serene place, a peaceful place, especially with this 10 of Cups energy right before it and right after it. You have the 3 of Cups. I mean, the 3 of Cups is Moon and Cancer energy. It is a harvest. It's a celebration. You could be celebrating with that special person. You could be socializing with this person, and other people could be involved. It could just be a card of being very social with other people. I like the Cups energy. I love the harvest energy. Really nice leg, whatever this is. When we add this up and we break it down, we get Aries energy, that Mars energy, right? It's energy. It's fire energy. It's action. It's taking initiative. Definitely. Really nice. Really nice. Let's move on to your second leg here. Here you have forgiveness. So there might be somebody that is acting like an ass, somebody that does disappoint you. There's some sort of forgiveness here on the table. Now, listen, Taurus, this could be you, right? You could maybe you need to ask someone for their forgiveness. I don't know. Let's look at the cards, right? Yeah. I mean, listen, you have the 10 of Cups, and right next to the 10 of Cups, you have the 10 of Wands on the side. And what did we say about the 10 of Wands over here, right? Something seems like a lot of stress, but you find it's worth it. And then this, right? These sides are different. This is stress, work, really hard stuff. This is the same, but you see how he's heading towards a village? That means that all this stress is worth it. All this work is worth it. Not only is it next to the Ten of Cups, but he's headed towards something with this. This isn't just needless stress. This is really good stress. This is like, wow, I have a lot to do, but this is really building towards something, and I like this. In your center card, the center of your reading is a really nice card as well. You have this air energy, this beautiful Ace of Swords, and you know it's different. They're both great, but you know on this side it's air, pure air energy, but whatever undertaking you have here will be a success. It is being brought to you. Do you see that eagle with the wreath? That is success, and that is the center of your reading. And you notice it's right next to the Six of Swords, so you're headed towards this, right? You're moving towards this. Beautiful. And you have the Page of Wands, Mercury in Aries energy, the start of something exciting. And see, that's right next to your Three of Cups. But there is this apology here. Now, why is that? Is there something you did in the past to someone that you need to apologize for? Or, if you don't know what the heck this is and you're truly lost, then it could be this trickster energy. Somebody disappoints you in some way this month and they ask you for forgiveness. It does seem to be a small part of the month, but it seems to be here for a reason, right? When we add this up and we break it down, we get that 11 energy, right? Two things coming together. We have that bridge from here to here. The 11 is crossing that bridge. It's that initiation, that cardinal number, right? The cardinal numbers, the cardinal signs are all initiators, right? They start things. Love that energy for you. Really nice. Now, here on your last side, you did pull two of these cards. One is Earth Energy, Taurus, Virgo, Capricorn, which is you. Grounded in beautiful Earth energy. And you know, the aces are really nice. It is a gift on the material plane, right? And we talked about that. There is something headed towards you here, for sure. But you have a Saturn, and I'm pretty sure it wasn't, yeah, I'm pretty sure that Saturn, when we add this up and we break it down, we got Saturn, and Saturn is, it says until death tear us apart, but don't listen to that. It says career, commitments. Remember I said work? This is Saturn energy. Definitely, you know, this is where, honestly, even though that is not your ruling planet, actually it is, isn't it? No, that's Capricorn. Venus is your ruling planet, but damn, I have to tell you, Taurus energy is really comfortable in this. You know, that Saturn energy, that I am going to do X, Y, and Z and get this. I am going to work really hard and get this. And I'm not going to be dissuaded. I'm not going to be pushed off course. This is what I've decided, and so this is what I'm going to do. And it is perfect for this Saturn energy. Perfect, okay? You have here the Page of Cups. And the Page of Cups on this side is a little bit different, right? This is, you know, Mercury and Cancer energy. And on this side, you have the turtle, right? And we know that sea turtles are very wise, but they pretty much keep to themselves. And they stay safely inside their shell. And so you may be very hunkered down here. You may be very hunkered down when it comes to your work. You have the Knight of Wands in reverse. And, you know, the Knight of Wands, well, I shouldn't say that. This isn't the Knight of Wands. This is the Eight of Wands. But it reminds me of the Knight of Wands. I wish I could have pulled that card. You know, I might put it up on the screen right now so you could see it. I'll add it to the video. But you'll see how similar it is. Do you see the lightning strike and the wands and the Pegasus? And do you see how that knight is riding the Pegasus into the storm? Same energy, right? So there is something headed towards you here. There is something headed towards you. It is a storm of sorts, but it looks like a lightning strike. It looks like you're prepared for this somehow. You are prepared for this, and I have to tell you, it doesn't really matter because you have here, where's my pointer? Here it is. You have the Six of Swords next to the Ace, right next to this card. So boom. But look at your last card. You have the Nine of Cups. And both sides are amazing, but this is something, you are being brought a gift from the universe. Now, you could look at the universe and say it's God. You could look at the universe and say it's your angels, your spirit guides, someone, your ancestors, the universe at large. If you are a believer in the law of attraction, whatever you want to believe, you have the Three of Cups next to this brand new exciting start next to the Wish card. So you're going to be brought something here. And it's all positive, no matter how I look at it, because I look at the 10 of Cups here, attached to the Ace, diagonally attached to this. I mean, no matter how you look at this reading, it's good. The only thing that I'm going to say that you need to be careful about is this trickster energy, which could be something very small, and you need to really stop and think before you make any decisions about things here, Taurus. When we add this up and we break it down, we get Mars energy again. Definitely moving forward with confidence. Very confident energy, okay? So you have here in your challenges, you have the Ace of Water. Another ace, right? Pisces, Cancer, Scorpio. Could have water highly aspected in your chart somewhere. You could. But this is an emotional time, and that could be challenging. Now, there is part of your month that is emotional. There is some sort of relationship that seems off balance that you need to get back on track. It could be emotional. This could have something to do with your past. Could, right? You have here, and here it is, you have the Ace of Pentacles here in reverse. The Ace of Pentacles is kind of like that ace that we saw over there, the Ace of Earth. And as a challenge here, you have to make sure you do not miss an opportunity because of your ego. Okay? Keep your ego in check. You also have the Page of Cups, another Page of Cups, right? Mercury and Cancer energy, new beginnings, missed opportunity. You have a new beginning. Now the page, listen, because of these love cards, because of this work card, you have both here as well. The challenge is going to be getting this love situation back on track, if that's what you want, if you want it, okay? Another challenge is going to be not to miss this opportunity with money. Could be a raise, could be a new job, could be anything like that. Something to do with the material plane. You do have the Queen of Cups here coming in reverse. Saturn and Cancer energy. There is some sort of emotions that you are not in sync with. And I don't know whether this is the emotional part of this relationship, something that's happened in your past that you are sort of avoiding dealing with, thinking about, that is having an impact on you. I don't know. It could be different for all of you. But the Queen of Cups, when turned around and facing inward, is, especially in the challenge position like this, is something that's going on internally, emotionally, especially with this Ace of Water here. When we add this up and we break it down, we get Sun energy, Leo energy. What did we say over here? Consciousness is light. What did we say about light? When you're conscious, it's the sun pouring in. The clarity and the warmth of the sun. That's your possibility. Okay, whether you accept it, whether you want all this energy is really up to you, right? You could just be going after the money this month and say, the hell with it. You could just be going after the relationship, saying, you know what? I don't feel like dealing with my career. I want to deal with this relationship. It's really important to me. You could be somebody who says, I want everything, which wouldn't surprise me. So you figure out what it is you want. And these are your opportunities here, Taurus. And here we go. Here are your opportunities. You have, something. What did we say about the Six of Cups energy? Remember, there is something you're awakening to. You're never too old to learn something here, Taurus. And here you have yet another page, right? Here's that same page, except in your opportunities, you have the opportunity to make a decision about this Mercury and Aries energy, a decision about this new beginning. Do you want it? Is this new beginning? Is it, I'm trying to refocus this, is this new beginning something to do with your love life? Does it have something to do with your professional life? I don't know. Honestly, I do think for some of you, this is both. You do have here the Two of Swords coming out in your opportunities column. Venus and Libra energy coming out of not taking action. This would be kind of, I don't want to know, I don't want to see, I don't want to think about it. But this in reverse is like you dealing with it, seeing it, saying, okay, I'm ready. I'm really ready. And this is interesting. You have the Wheel of Fortune with the Nine of Swords that came out together. And the Wheel of Fortune, as we know, is Jupiter energy, but it's fixed energy like you, Taurus. And it is that Jupiter energy we talked about in the beginning. You have the opportunity to change for some of you to change your luck. For others of you to turn that great wheel onto a different path, right? To expand your world And you have the Nine of Swords. Now, in the opportunities, this is Mars and Gemini energy. This is self-reflection. And what did we say about facing something? Something that you, I don't know, it could be a new spin on something that you went through. It could be something that you really didn't realize was a trauma. It could be a trauma that you don't want to talk about. It could be a trauma that you're tired of talking about. It could be something you don't really like to put much mental energy in. Whatever it is, it's an opportunity this month. And somehow you're going to look at it differently from how you used to. And I don't know what that means because it's going to be so different for each of you, right? It will be literally impossible for me to for me to dictate how that's going to affect each and every Taurus. We add this column up and we break it down. It's really no surprise we get Jupiter energy again, right? Jupiter energy, expansion, luck, changing cycles, the great wheel. Okay, let me grab this. We will pull a card to close your reading, and then we'll do your numerology, which I always find fascinating. For Taurus, August 2025, please. We have Temperance. Interesting. Yeah, it's the card of Sagittarius, and Sagittarius rules Jupiter. Middle path, patience, finding the meaning, at least in this card, right? If you don't know where you are going, any road can take you there, for sure. Temperance is healing as well. It's also transmutation, turning one thing into another, turning something that you didn't find value in perhaps at one point and turning it into something valuable. Perhaps you're dealing with a Sagittarius. Perhaps you're, because this Jupiter kept coming out over and over again. And for those of you who aren't, Jupiter is, oh, God, look at even Chiron. I mean, God, everything's pointing to this Taurus. Yeah. For those of you not dealing with someone that falls under that sign or doesn't have that highly aspected in their chart, you are transmuting something for sure. Now, when we look at your numbers here, we see that your total, like in other words, when we add everything up and we break it down, we get Pluto. We get number 10, which is the ruler of Scorpio, which is, you know, death and rebirth, right? It's that death and rebirth energy for sure. When we look at your numbers in general, the number that came out the most, which is kind of odd, it doesn't happen very often, is number 1. And number 1 is the sun. It is that Leo energy, right? That we talked about it over here. And I believe we talked about it somewhere else, right? Right around here somewhere. But we have that Leo energy that came out, that number 1, that sun energy. Something will be illuminated to you this month. We also, the planet that came out the most in this particular reading was Mercury. And Mercury is Gemini Virgo energy, but we also were going to be in Mercury retrograde for most of the month, okay? When we consider the shadow aspects of the Mercury retrograde. So be very careful about what you understand, miscommunications, missed opportunities. The Mercury retrograde might be playing tricks on you a little bit. It could, that in and of itself could be this trickster energy, by the way. The Mercury retrograde energy could be playing tricks on you. So keep a cool head here. The sign that came out the most was the Cancer, which is moon energy. And it is that ace of water type energy, that emotions, right? Could be that Chiron energy that we talked about here. But you have an interesting lineup here because you have Pluto, which is death and rebirth. You also have the sun and the moon in one reading coming together, which are two things coming together. When I see the sun and the moon right next to each other, I always think of a relationship, right? But you have what is dark is now light. What may have been confusing is now clear. You have Mercury energy as well, which really leads me to believe that this retrograde is going to be meaningful for you in some way. But remember one thing, Taurus, for this month, if your mantra should be, consciousness is light. Make it conscious. Make conscious decisions. Consciousness is light. Namaste.